What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Hitbox European Championship here on the Pro Dota English channel, brought to you by HeflaTV Steel Series and esportgaming.com. Be sure to check them all out because they've shown love to us, therefore they deserve your love. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by More Rage, please, for this second game in the best of three. mYinsanity up one game. What do you think, Aspera? I have to change you. That last one was pretty chaotic.
Yeah, I felt like the laning stage went fairly even. Maybe towards that bot rune where Nikwa hit that two-hero hook shot, first hook shot of the game. They were able to kind of turn the tides, and then some flawless mid-game execution. Perhaps just ban out the Naga in this one. They will proceed to ban out the Lina and the BH, interestingly. So going to give MYI back what they want if they're going to go for that. But they'll actually ban out the Tusk themselves and pick up that mid lane Shadow Fiend along with the Earthshaker. Definitely a duo we see together pretty often.
And there's that Naga Siren ban coming out from Aspera. This is probably one of the, I mean, you obviously want Leshrac in the mid lane, but if you can't get Leshrac, you want Shadow Fiend Shaker, Queen of Pain Shaker, really Shaker +1 just to try to help out that mid lane as much as possible. And this is going to allow Shadow Fiend to get the kills on the Queen of Pain, whereas ordinarily that wouldn't be possible. Aspera are going to get their hands on the Clockwork this time, so it's just going to go towards Afterlife into the off lane. They have a lot of mobility already, and it is going to be up to mYinsanity to grab a little bit more in the way of crowd control to actually deal with these two and have some sort of defensive response to it.
Yeah, they'll actually battle the Undying here, so MYI not going to put all their eggs in one basket, not going to go melee heavy here, it seems. They are pretty comfortable towards the mid lane for Thug on this Shadow Fiend. That's something he plays very often. So, and also, as you mentioned earlier, the Earthshaker going to be there to stack and just to be present in lane, maybe garner him a kill, definitely ensure him some CS. So, look for the Queen of Pain Clock to get active early and try and find picks elsewhere on the map, as that Earthshaker is probably going to leave a dual lane bottom and, of course, that solo offlaner. But, yeah, Afterlife picks up the Clockwork here. Definitely something he's a lot more comfortable on than the Axe. Not that he played poorly on the Axe in the last one. A little bit of a soft counter with the Decrepify there from the Pugna. But either way, Aspera once again going to ban out Nico Baby's Phantom Lancer. So that'll definitely leave him something like the Slark here, which is pretty good versus both the Clock and the Queen of Pain. So I wouldn't mind to see that Slark pickup come out for mYinsanity. They are going to pick up the DS, though, which is something that they run fairly often for the offlaner, which is going to be Nikwa as he's standing in for this one.
Anti-mage for Nico Baby. It's here that he plays quite often as well. Kind of weird to see no Gyrocopter yet. Maybe someone is going to grab it. Probably not. mYinsanity at this point. Probably Aspera. I don't see a reason why they shouldn't, really. So, yeah, weird to see that. But we do have mYinsanity this time taking out the Undying and the Spirit Breaker. It looks like they're just going to completely shift gears. Like, they want to play this game a little bit slower. Whereas last game, they had the Pugna and Clinks. You know, these heroes destroy towers pretty quickly, and that's exactly what we saw. This time, they want to really hold down the fort with the early game and get farm. Shadow Fiend and Anti-Mage are pretty brutal late-game heroes, especially when you have Darkseer and Shaker behind them for extra, potential support, maybe potential wombo combo if you're able to get those Blink Daggers up. And Aspera, they haven't really shown what direction they're going to be in. Are they going to try to out late game mYinsanity? Because that seems pretty hard right now. It seems like no, they want to go aggressive a little bit earlier. They want to pressure this Anti-Mage.
Yeah, I really want to see Aspera pressure the Darkseer early on. If they force him back into the jungle, that's going to deny up the stacks from the Shadow Fiend. So altogether will be an economical hit towards mYinsanity. As you mentioned, banning out all this early aggression is kind of indicating that they want to take this a little bit later, want to farm up their cores, Nico Baby's Anti-Mage, Thugs, Shadow Fiend. So I like the Luna pick from Aspera. Gives them a lot of magical bursts early on. I feel like one more strong support, perhaps something like a Witch Doctor combos nicely with the Clockwork, does a little bit of physical damage. It could help out that safe lane, and maybe they're able to bring down that DS. Even something like a Lion. The Rubik ban comes out here, so the hard disable definitely going to be coveted from Aspera going forward.
Yeah, they just need a little bit more disable. They have the Curse, they have Clockwork for a little bit of soft disable for the Anti-Mage, but get anyone with a stun, and it looks like right now they should be thinking about Witch Doctor, probably, just to add a little bit of sustain to their push, just with that healing. They could always go for something a little bit weirder, like a Chen, and then really try to take down these towers. But Aspera, they're going to try to get in under mYinsanity. They want this Anti-Mage to be struggling. They want the Shadow Fiend to be struggling. And that's when Aspera are going to look to really play how mYinsanity played in Game 1. And it seems like they're actually pretty decently positioned to actually go for that. mYinsanity, they need another support. They need a support that can fight early. That's why we see the Skywrath Mage to be banned out by the Aspera side. They have already a lane that looks like it's Anti-Mage Earthshaker, so that's 2 melee. They need ranged as well. Dazzle still in. Might be a little bit too damage light, though.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing the Dazzle pickup here. Yeah, they actually end up picking up the Coddle. That's a very interesting pickup. This might be a dual off lane coming out from mYinsanity, but Anti-Mage will have a really rough time without the Coddle. It's a bit of lane presence. You don't want to push the wave up too much, so kind of an odd pickup. Maybe they're looking more for the recall in the late game to help with the split push a bit, as it does seem like they want to drag this one out. It gives them some deep push as well, along with the Earthshaker and that Ion Shell from the Darkseer. So maybe just looking to stifle the aggression coming out from Aspera and take this late.
I think it's a reasonable pick, mostly because Aspera, they have Clockwork and Queen of Pain to get on top of this Keeper of the Light, but in the laning phase, Winter Wyvern not really great at getting on that Keeper of the Light. Night Stalker, though, is. Now, that's a pick from Aspera. I like it, mostly because Night Stalker is awesome, but also just because they want to apply this a little bit more pressure to this Anti-Mage. Crippling Fear is super legit, and Anti-Mage will want to get the Manta Style eventually, but that happens after Battle Fury, after Vlad's, and Manta Style at that point is still a pretty expensive item. So
yeah,
this is the hero that Aspera want to apply this pressure, and it'll also let them get a little bit more pressure in these lanes. In fact, I mean, they probably have a powerful enough series of heroes to go for an offensive tri-lane.
Yeah, definitely so. I could see them running the offensive tri-lane around that Night Stalker, that early Crippling Fear. I mean, what is it, a 5-second stun or 5-second silence at 4 minutes into the game can be really effective. It can even make the Orchid from the Queen of Pain presumably to come out even more effective if they set back Nico Baby's farm and give a bigger window to that Queen of Pain before he picks up the Manta Style. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them go aggro, and it looks like that is the decision coming out from the Dire side.
With Crippling Fear, you also have to remember that it gives you a 50% chance to miss. When we're talking about a Shadow Fiend, the silence is crippling, and the right-click miss chance is crippling as well. And, well, that's I guess why it's called Crippling Fear. But Aspera, they're game down, and it looks like they are pretty well positioned to bring this to a game 3. They are going to be all loading out to their lanes. But on the mYinsanity side, we have Milan, who's going to be playing the Shaker. Thug right now is on the Shadow Fiend, sitting in bottom, but his Anti-Mage is going to be farming that lane. And up towards top, Nico is on the Darkseer, and that leaves Spartan on the Keeper of the Light. Aggressive rotation from Aspera. They shouldn't be able to find anyone here.
Yeah, on the Aspera side, Undershock going to pick up his mid lane Queen of Pain. RZ going to be on that Night Stalker, the little niche pick coming out from Aspera. The Apathy picks up the Luna in the 1. Limbo going to be over on that Wyvern in the 5th position. And finally, Afterlife on his signature Clockwork.
Man, they're looking for all of this vision. They're already blocked out the pole camp. They have pretty aggressive observer vision here as well, and the Earthshaker does not have any way of getting rid of this. So, yeah, Aspera, they want to pressure this lane as much as possible. Up towards top, Afterlife already getting caught in a little bit of an awkward position. He has so much regeneration, though, with 8 sets of tangos, or 8 tangos, rather, that he'll be just fine to shrug that one off. They could probably leave the Darkseer alone versus this Clockwork, but this Keeper of the Light's early game stage up against a Night Stalker is just so sketchy. If the Night Stalker finds Keeper of the Light just by himself, the higher damage, armor, health pool, chasing power, our Zeke just has the Keeper of the Light at every turn.
Seems like it is going to be that off-lane dual lane coming out from mYinsanity, and that's going to leave the Shadow Fiend alone towards the mid lane. We'll see if Undershock is able to accrue a big advantage by virtue of this decision. Already, RZ can jump forward with the Void. No last hits for you, Anti-Mage good sir, and Nico Baby going to be backed off. And they are going to spot the Earthshaker briefly with the Night Stalker over in the tree line. So Aspera well aware of who's present in this lane, and they're wrapping Nico around top, cutting the creep wave away from Afterlife, and they're going to make his life hell over in this top lane.
Afterlife is going to catch Nico in the cogs with the battery assault active. Nico looks like he's going to be first blood here. Cogs will dissolve soon, but oh, he's going to get away. It's actually the Queen of Pain to draw first blood on the Shadow Fiend as well towards top lane. Afterlife still has Nico in a corner right now. Creep wave going to see him. A couple more right clicks. Oh, this Clockwork needs another level for Rocket Flare, but Nico should be able to survive. Looks like I chose the wrong lane to watch. It's a 1-for-1 trade in the mid lane, but it is Queen of Pain to get the first kill.
And not only did she do that, but she was able to pick off the Courier as well. So big hit going the Radiance way. 2 minutes on the sideline. Thug did get his bottle to come out, but he won't be able to crow it.
Yeah, this is just a disastrous point in the mid lane for Thug. Yeah, the bottle, it is there, which is nice and everything, but this Queen of Pain now is more than happy to trade hits with this Shadow Fiend. If you kill a Shadow Fiend this early, I mean, obviously you're just going to get more gold and whatnot, but also you have the souls to worry about as Shadow Fiend. He's already at a vast damage disadvantage here versus the Queen of Pain, and it's going to get a little bit worse since he has to rebuild up those souls. Anti-Mage down towards the bottom lane is going to get chased down. He has another blink available, so he won't die here. At least he shouldn't. Yeah, you'll just walk out of there, but yeah, he's not getting a ton of farm, whereas Luna's getting all the farm that she could possibly want. Up towards top, Spartan going deep for Afterlife. This time it's the Clockwork to escape at just a sliver of HP. This game is already a lot more chaotic than I would expect.
Yeah, I think it's by virtue of the laning decision from mYi. I'm not a huge fan of them putting the Coddle up in that top lane.
Also, Thug, suddenly invisible Undershock. He's going to land 1 raise, going to land 2 raise. Undershock going to blink out. And looks like, again, no one's going to die.
Thug getting very low. Has a bottle charge available. Again, Courier down, though, for 40 seconds, so he is going to have to back off. No one able to TP towards that mid lane and fill up his bottle. Undershot going to continue to gain an advantage, it seems, in this mid lane. 9-4 to 7-1. He's going to get about 1 wave of creeps worse for the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, the Queen of Pain is sitting pretty right now, and Milan has rotated into that mid lane out of necessity. He knows that the Shadow Fiend has a much better chance of becoming relevant than the Anti-Mage, given equal amounts of farm and space. So they're going to sacrifice this bottom lane, and for any team to sacrifice an Anti-Mage ever, that's not really what you want to be doing. He's getting absolutely nothing. Has 1-1 in his CS score, and he hasn't died yet, which is, I guess, pretty nice, but someone who might die up towards top is Spartan. He's gonna be hit with the Night Stalker. Void Surge is there, which will last longer than the slow from Void, so the Keeper's like gonna charge on out of there at max movement speed, so no one's gonna die just yet. But Aspera, they have mid lane where Undershock is doing really well versus the Shadow Fiend. Top lane is pretty much drawing even, and bottom lane's being crushed. With the more offensive draft, Aspera are right where they want to be.
Yeah, I really like that final pick on the Night Stalker for them. It seems to be paying dividends, and he is going to hit that a crucial first nighttime coming soon here. Doesn't have a point in the silence just yet, and is only level 2. But with a little bit of extra movement speed, perhaps able to chase down this Coddle top lane. Towards the rune, though, maybe they find this Earthshaker. RZ going to jump up to the high ground, gets hit with the Fissure. And 10 seconds on cooldown for the blink is going to keep back the Queen of Pain, at least for the duration of this Fissure, but she will be able to secure this double damage rune shortly hereafter. Meanwhile, Nico Baby's finally found some space, 5-2 on the CS board now, as opposed to that 1-1 just recently.
The amazing one last hit a minute. It's not exactly where you want to be as an anti-mage, but and this Luna is getting a little bit more of an accurate representation of a safe lane's worth of farm, or at least like a 1 position farm worth of farm. And yeah, Luna is definitely a more terrifying hero than anti-mage for the first, what, like 20-25 minutes of the game. Anti-mage needs so much more than Luna if he even wants to fight evenly. So Aspera, they are right where they want to be. Where's the point, though, where they're actually going to go truly aggressive? Is it once they get the Eclipse on the Luna? I feel like that's probably their strongest relative point.
Hookshot would be nice as well. Bot lane, Limbo's going to take some harass from Nico Baby. Rotations in from the Apathy, though, are going to force him back. And a little bit of just frustration from the anti-mage there, having his pull camp aggressed upon by the Wyvern. Just going to try and trade some hits, but is looking very poor at this point. I feel like, yeah, Hookshot, Eclipse, maybe 1 point in the silence for that Night Stalker, and they can start to get aggressive. He's been spotted out, speaking of which, Arzeek's Night Stalker has by the Radiant Observer Ward, and Spartan and Nikwa should be able to back off just fine.
Well, top lane is being pressured slowly but surely. Clockwork doesn't really have any great answers to an Ion Shell creep because he himself is melee. And the tower is in deny range right now. I don't know if Aspera know about this, but they should be looking to get rid of that one in just a little bit. Over towards mid. Undershot going to throw Sonic Wave onto Milan. Will be denied by the Shadow Fiend. He still has a double damage rune, though, and Thug is at half HP. The Queen of Pain has another blink in 2 seconds. If she goes in, she's not going to have an escape plan. Undershock, does she know where the Shadow Fiend is? She should. Blink up to the north. She just wants the rune. She's going to get it. Not as good as a Shadow Fiend kill, obviously, but the Shadow Fiend is continuously struggling, and Undershock going to at least put the Shaker, out of commission for a little while.
Yeah, both Nico Baby and Thug under 20 CS at this point, and there is a triple stack which for Thug to farm up. So because they opted for that off lane dual lane, they will be able to have some stacks for him in the jungle. Though Nikwa diving deep top, and with Ion Shell doing a lot of damage, and the blinding light comes through, or the illuminate, and not going to hit anyone. The void will be there onto Nikwa. He's able to stick up though, just enough mana for the surge. Gets out. We'll throw on Ion Shell just to push the wave as he backs off. Tranquil Boots picked up on Afterlife will keep him safe, but they do get that tier 1 towards the top lane, and Nikwa able to pick up the last hit.
Yeah, but it's going to cost them the Shadow Fiend. He got spotted I guess trying to go for the stack, and a little bit of the stack is going to be cleaned up by Aspera. I think Shadow Fiend got a little bit of it as well, but this is a level 5 Shadow Fiend, 7 minutes in the game. He should be a little bit more where the Queen of Pain is right now, level 7.5 for Undershock, and Thug is a hero that can recover, but not if his stacks are being stolen, not if Aspera are able to freely move into the mYinsanity jungle, and with the likes of Night Stalker and Luna, that is probably on the game plan for them. So yeah, it's nice taking a top tier 1 for the mYinsanity side, and they don't actually lose anyone in that lane for it, but this Darkseer is not really a hero that can hold down the fort when you don't have an irrelevant anti-mage, and you also don't have a relevant Shadow Fiend. So
Yeah.
Aspera, yeah, they lose a tower, but it's only 1 tower so far. And now the Luna has an Eclipse. Our Zeke still does not have any crippling fear. It looks like they want to actually wrap around for mid lane. More pressure towards the Shadow Fiend, perhaps, and if he runs into the stack, oh no, don't go here. Thug and Spartan are in a really bad spot. Here comes the Eclipse. Dead, Keeper of the Light instantly. A couple Ogres going to take the rest of the beams. It looks like Thug will survive, but still it's a free kill for Aspera.
Yeah, 8-minute rune going to spawn top lane, and Afterlife has already found some aggression onto Nikwa. He will be fortunate enough to have some creeps alongside him, and now no mana left on the Clockwork. Fish are going to come from the south, and Afterlife should be able to be finished off. The Vacuum actually going to miss, but he'll be chased down by the Darkseer. And finally, a kill going to be found there for MYI. 4-2 gives Nico Baby a little bit of space in the recent minutes as well. He's picked up about 20 CS at this point, so looking at a healthy 2 CS per minute for the anti-mage, but they will rotate down, and they are going to find Spartan over in the tree line. He throws out the Illuminate. Arctic Burn going to come through. Winter's Curse is not available just yet, as the Wyvern is only level 5, so they will be able to blink out to the west and keep themselves safe.
Mid lane, Undershock going to get into a fight versus 2. Milan, even with the fissure there, can only set up for 1 raise from the Shadow Fiend, and the Sonic Wave is going to jam that one home. Undershock just using his vast level advantage to keep the Shadow Fiend locked down, and easily 2v1ing as well. Down towards bottom lane, I don't think they're quite done yet. Really, I think I would have liked to see the Crippling Fear point from the Night Stalker at level 3, because he's not getting a ton of experience for the Aspera side, but hey, they have the Apathy still in the area. They have Limbo. He's flying. He's going to get hit with the Illuminate. It's a little bit awkward there, but this tower now going to get pressured by the Aspera side, and again, Darkseer's the only one who's doing well for mYinsanity. Granted, he is doing really, really well, especially as far as Darkseers are concerned, but this just isn't a hero that you can use to hold this disadvantage. They need the Shadow Fiend to somehow get a turnaround kill on the Queen of Pain. I think that's probably the most likely thing to happen that'll get them the most back into this game.
Yeah, they don't have enough jungle economy for the Shadow Fiend to do it otherwise, so I definitely agree with you on that front. Darkseer picking up the mech. I don't know if it's the biggest deal here. Arctic Burn going to be popped by Limbo. He'll be able to jump over that fish or keep himself safe. And I say that just because they really don't have a fighting lineup at this point, so it's not like you're going to be able to ball up around the mech and look to fight into a Night Stalker, Queen of Pain, Clockwork, Luna 10 minutes into the game. So, I mean, the farm on the Darkseer is nice, but yeah, as you mentioned, it's not good sacrificing what they have for it. Thug going to try and be found here. He will get hook-shotted. Cogged up as well. Void comes through, and they do have the Wyvern on the north side. Of course, Thug, not even having the Requiem available, is going to be able to drop there. Wouldn't have been able to get it off with the battery assault anyways. First hook shot used successfully, and bot lane, the Luna finds the Earthshaker as well.
And that was without an Eclipse, just a couple Lucent Beams, the chase down, 380 movement speed on this Luna versus 360 on the Shaker. Luna is one of the faster heroes in the game and will be a little bit faster still since she's going for a drum build. So running from this hero, not really going to happen. Hell, running from any of the Aspera heroes, just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Really, Winter Wyvern's the only one who can't truly effectively keep up with her targets, but it's a Winter Wyvern. You're okay with that. Everyone else can give everyone the chase down, and ooh, looks like to put a little bit more salt in the wound, it's going to be Aspera to find the mYinsanity stack. This is a 1, 2, 3 stack of hard creeps. It's not really the biggest stack in the world, but at this point, if you're mYinsanity, you can't afford to give up anything else.
Yeah, it's almost worth just blowing a Sonic Wave and getting out just to really damage the economy of the Radiant side. The Shadow Fiend only level 7 at this point in the game. Level 9 and 8 on the Queen of Pain and Luna, respectively. Nico Baby's picked up level 8 as well, but is severely underfarmed at this point. Only has the Ring of Health to his name and is even TPing out of bot lane currently. So not going to find too much farm hereafter.
2 to 7 for Aspera. Their gold and experience lead isn't immense at this point, but again, it's mostly just because the focus of that gold is being put into this Darkseer, whether intentionally or not by mYinsanity. So Aspera, they're going to have to eventually start taking some objectives. Really, that's been, so far in this game, the only spot where they haven't been succeeding. Luna with 2 points in the Blessing should be able to tear down these tier 1s fairly easily at this point, though. So Aspera, they do have a pretty slight lead. They have the correct heroes, they have the momentum, but it's still not out of the question to see mYinsanity, somehow get a good Mana Void or hit a 4-hero Illuminate or something like that, get a Requiem off soon, and we'll really turn some of these fights around. And once that happens, it's actually mYinsanity who are able to perhaps take some of the objectives first.
Yeah, it could certainly. They do definitely have the potential of vacuum into Mana Void, vacuum into Illuminate, vacuum Requiem, vacuum Echo Slam, but they are starving a little bit on their supports right now. The Coddle and the Earthshaker are both sitting on level 4. Coddle a little bit closer to that level 5 there, but already Wyvern has the Winter's Curse available, and that is going to be a huge team fight spell for them. The Night Stalker, as we said earlier, not finding as much, but still keeping on par with the Radiant support. So things looking good all around for Aspera, despite the metrics, as you mentioned, showing it relatively even.
The Night Stalker doesn't really need that much. He's going for the urn, so going to get a little bit of extra strength and you get that healing effect a little bit down the line. But we already saw it earlier where he was level 1 and he ate like 4 tower shots. He only dropped like about a third of his HP. This hero is just naturally super, super tanky, and if he dies, it's a level 4 hero that Aspera are okay with losing. And because it's only a level 4 hero, mYinsanity don't really get that much for it. So you really want to kill off this Night Stalker because he's doing a lot of damage, but you don't really get rewarded for it. So it's a dangerous spot still for mYinsanity to be in. They need Nikwa to do something miraculous with this mech. They need to have some clutch saves or something along those lines, because as this game stands, Aspera, they're getting more kills, and sooner or later they're going to be starting to get these towers as well. They do clean up that hard stack, and they actually do see another target. Blink forward, Sonic Wave, that's a dead keeper. And not much you can do about that as a keeper.
Easiest D-ward of that keeper's life. Spartan, after playing a hell of a game 1 on the Tusk, going to be brought down here on his Coddle for the second time. And just the right place, right time for Undershock there after bringing down that stack. No vision for the Radiant side to know that was occurring. And that'll translate into a tier 1 push bot lane. Rocket Flare going to scout out that there are no TPs currently. One is going to come in and be briefly scouted by the Rocket Flare. That's going to be the keeper of the light. They do pop the glyph here, and then wow, the Lucent Beam, Blink Scream, dead Coddle there. Nikwa all by his lonesome, needs to be a little bit careful, does have the mech and the surge, is going to have TPs inbound as well, and baiting a hook shot out now with the Void there to have the slow. They won't even need it. Battery Assault going to be popped off here. Nikwa going to get caught by it, and he will be voided up, hooked for good measure, and cogged in. One last right click from the Queen of Pain brings him down. The TP in from Milan was all for naught, as he had to rotate up to the north on the Earthshaker, and they will bring down that tier 1 when all is said and done.
I was with Limbo still getting a little bit of extra farm in the mid lane, so 1,000 gold for the Winter Wyvern while all of this is happening. Perhaps a little bit closer to maybe even a Blink Dagger first, just to be a little bit more aggressive. Okay, no, Arcane Boots, that's just as good, I think. They're a little bit cheaper as well. So it's Nico Baby right now in the most trouble up on top lane. Apathy's going to get raised once. Here comes Nico Baby. If they can kill the Luna, that'll be big, but they can't. That Mana Void did nothing out. Here comes Undershock, wants Thug. Shadow Strike is going to land. Shadow Fiend going to turn around for a couple raises, but he's going to concede his life so that the Anti-Mage can get away. And it's another kill for Limbo. Aspera, they take so many kills, and they take the tower, and they're in a position where they can go for even more. It was, I guess, a nice attempt from mYinsanity to go for that Luna kill up towards top. It's the type of move that they have to make, but they just don't have the proper heroes for it. Shadow Fiend is set so far behind. Now mid lane, Spartan's going to get nuked down again. Yeah, Keeper of the Light is not really good in these situations.
So many mobile, aggressive heroes. Night Stalker, Luna, Clockwork, Queen of Pain for the dire side. And yeah, Keeper has not had a good time when he isn't around the darks here for that surge. Yeah, that play top lane, I feel like maybe it was necessary to take that kind of risk, but with no Requiem skilled up just yet, they're going to curse up Nico Baby and kill him off here with the Splinter Blast as well. But yeah, without that Requiem being available, I don't know if you really jump in for that right on the tier 2 as they did. And the Luna able to survive tanky enough with the drums and even find Nico Baby shortly thereafter. Things looking abysmal at this point in the game, 2-13 in favor of Aspera.
It just seems like mYinsanity are a little bit more comfortable when they're able to go on the aggressive, and some teams are just like that, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but getting this really slow-ish type of draft, getting support heroes that can, in theory, do a lot of damage, but need a lot of setup to do so, it just doesn't seem like it's really their thing. And now it's going to be Spartan to run into yet another hero. It's Afterlife. He's going to put up the battery assault, hook shot in, and Spartan's trapped in the cogs. 5th death for the Keeper of the Light. This one's solo by the Clockwork, and yeah, it's going to be a pretty easy one at that. He's going to grab his medallion soon, so Aspera really gearing up with aggressive items across the board. No Blade Mail, no Force Staff. You just want to get those kills.
Yeah, mid lane, Undershock's picked up a DD as well. He's going to be accompanied by Arzeek and shortly by Afterlife as well. They'll probably put down this mid tower fairly soon. Glyph is available to the Radiant side. Not sure if they want to fight at this point, though. They're so lacking in items, and Arzeek may be able to run into a couple of members of that MY lineup, but we'll just do some scouting forward mid lane, and yeah, another jump forward, a couple right clicks with the DD. Dead Keeper of the Light once again.
Nico Baby wants to use Mana Void right now, but he can't race this Queen of Pain. He'll blink right over her, but she'll blink after with a double damage rune. One more hit's gonna kill off the anti-mage. They're just silver platter killing themselves versus this Queen of Pain. Now they're onto Milan with the Arctic Burn. They'll get that kill. Here comes Nikwa, but it's suddenly a 1v4. Heal onto Arzeek is going to keep him alive for a little while longer. Nikwa finally getting a little help from Thug. Needs a Requiem, but here comes the Apathy in exchange with the Eclipse. That'll get one kill immediately. Thug now going to try to use his ultimate, but it's not going to be enough. Even with the Death Requiem, everyone from Aspera still pretty healthy. They lose the 2 supports, but that's kind of their job, and they've already done their job, and still, it's Spartan with Afterlife right around the corner. Seems like this Clockwork just knows. I don't know how he knows, but it seems like he does, and no, not again. Mercy, please, on the Spartan. He's dead again. Nico Baby's going to teleport right in. I don't think Aspera have any more CC. Nico Baby has Mana Void, just wants a clean line of sight for Undershock. Blink out from the Queen of Pain. Mana Void should be able to kill her off, but he can't quite get close enough. He'll blink out to the right, but there's no escape there. Mana Void is still available, but doesn't have an opportunity to use it. We'll get picked off by Undershock from the high ground. It's a godlike spree for this Queen of Pain. Now Aghanim Scepter completed. Is there anything that mYinsanity can do to get themselves out of this? Because this game is falling apart. It has already fallen apart, actually. It's not even falling apart quickly.
Yeah, I'm aware of this one strategy. It's called Shift, Enter, and type GG. That's pretty much the only way to get out of this one. And it has been painful to watch for this anti-mage in this one. 16 minutes in, doesn't even have a Perseverance. Aghanims comes out now for the Queen of Pain. 1,700 gold in addition to that. Full S&Y going to be up just shortly, as well as it's ferried out to the Apathy. So things looking very scary, and pretty much insurmountable lead has been accrued by Aspera at this point. They're going to take down this tier 1 mid. Maybe a denial attempt comes through. A little bit of a saving grace. Undershock going to get hit with a Fissure, but yeah, the deny gets committed there by Thug, but small consolation prize for the state of the game.
They're going for S&Y on the Shadow Fiend. They're going for, honestly, anything on Nico Baby. Like, he would like a Battle Fury, but any item, any sort of gold, I'm sure he's okay with. A big item that mYinsanity can potentially grab to swing this game is a Blink Dagger on Shaker, but that's just so far away. Like, he doesn't even have a Soul Ring, no upgraded boots just yet, so he obviously wants to go for the Blink Dagger, but he won't be able to really get that. Oh, this is another good strategy if you somehow get the enemy team to leave. That usually has a pretty high win rate. But even now, like, Aspera, even if they lose 2 of their players, I'm pretty sure they'll be fine.
Yeah, they could definitely micro 1 hero. What would be the least micro necessary? I guess the Wyvern. Just throw a curse. Jump in, throw a curse, use the rest of the heroes. Yeah, I don't know that this is really something that's recoverable from. And we kind of spoke to it early on, them giving so much onus to the Darkseer to really turn the tides of the game, and without any farm on anyone else, there's no damage follow-up. I mean, the Shadow Fiend got off a nice set of raises mid lane on 2 heroes, was able to pick up a double kill, got off a big Requiem as well, and still they lost the fight pretty handily. So I don't know where the comeback is for mYi. They need a Blink Dagger on their Earthshaker. He has 100 gold. So that's not coming this game. That perhaps could be something that turns the fight, but I highly doubt that'll be the case. Vacuum, once again, I mean, we spoke about it earlier. Vacuum, Illuminate, Echo Slam could do some work for them. But, I mean, the type of lineup Aspera has, generally you won't see more than 2 or 3 heroes together, as they are so mobile.
Yeah, they'll be looking to the back lines always. And that's why we see Keeper with the 0-7-0 score, because Keeper of the Light is always in said line. And even if they do land that combination, at this point, Aspera are really tanky. Like 1300 HP on Queen of Pain, 1500 on the Luna, with Power Treads sitting on Agility, and she's going for what looks like a BKB now. So she's gone for pretty much the full-on Gyrocopter build, and she's going to be really hard to bring down with even that miraculous Wombo combo. It is a level 2 Requiem, so that's a decent tool to get back into it, but Aspera really have to screw up and really just misplace their heroes, or just, maybe lose control of the heroes because of some disconnection issues. Maybe, wink wink, nudge nudge, if they're going to actually get caught by that, but it has to be like the Womboist of combos. Anything but that is just not going to work. Hey, but it looks like mYinsanity, they're starting to come back. They're doing it.
Slowly but surely killing off the members. There you go. Milan has it. Double kill of Aspera. And, I mean, both these teams, it seems like it's almost been a complete flip of the script in these games. In game one, mYi just looks so well coordinated. And in this one, they look, first of all, like their laning decision was a little bit questionable, and more after their rotations were really, I mean, they didn't make sense, and they didn't do much in terms of defensively helping out their cores, and never really garnered them any kills. They only have 17 minutes in, whereas Aspera has just looked super coordinated in this one. So, yeah, as you mentioned earlier, both teams seem really comfortable with being the ones controlling the temple and being the ones on the aggression. And despite kind of going for this strategy early on, mYi has really not been able to find themselves space to farm their cores.
Maybe if the mYinsanity side, like in theory, swap out the Darkseer for a Clockwork, some hero that's just able to start those fights, because Darkseer is great at holding down the lane. He's superior to the Clockwork in that regard, but what he has in that strength, he really lacks in being able to start fights in the mid game. If they had some way of getting on top of an Aspera hero, then maybe they would be in a slightly better position, but you have to second pick the Clockwork at that point. And I think Shadow Fiend Shaker is justifiably strong enough to say that, okay, we'll give you the Clockwork because we're going to get this, in theory, mid lane dominating combo. And we can see how well that worked. The Shadow Fiend got his ass kicked.
So if we could just turn cheats on, give Shadow Fiend Blink Yules, or Abyssal to Anti-Mage, or a Blink Dagger to the Earthshaker, then mYinsanity would have a chance. But seems like at this point, I mean, they could perhaps go for a Blink on the Darkseer, but he's picked up the recipe for Greaves now, and we'll be able to complete that up. So, yeah, it's looking pretty grim.
Yeah, Greaves are fine, but it's not quite explosive enough. Like it's a little bit more of a safe item selection, and now's not the time for safe for mYinsanity. Now's the time to Hail Mary it with all of your item selections. Like, I don't know, as Anti-Mage, do you even still go for a Battle Fury? Because he'll get it, first of all, super late. Then he's going to need even more time afterwards. I don't know what you would get instead, but it seems like Battle Fury just might be too slow.
Yeah, the question is which item to get other than that. I mean, the Manta is nice up against Crippling Fear and up against the Eclipse to give more targets by that. I mean, there's still a Curse there. There's still a Sonic Wave to just blow those illusions up. So it's a really tough go for this Anti-Mage here. He's sitting third lowest on the net worth under the Wyvern, under the entire lineup of Aspera.
I guess that's maybe the only way he gets back into it, right? Like, you can try to go for, like Power Treads, Wraith Bands, Vlads, or something like that, but are you actually going to win off of that? That's also the secondary question. Like, you need an item build that lets you survive right now, but you also need to win eventually. That's the end game for this Anti-Mage. So I think the Battle Fury is like the winning move, but it's also the riskiest move.
They really need to hope for the absolute miraculous Wombo combo. And no one can survive from Aspera. And as you mentioned, I mean, the cores that should be killable, like the Queen of Pain, are really not at this point. With the Aghanim's Treads up, sitting on 1300 HP, would be over 1500 on Strength Treads, and definitely has more than enough mana for a combo with Strength Treads. So playing it safe, Undershock should be really more than fine in this one. They've scouted out Roche for the dire side, so it'll probably just be them jumping into the pit fairly soon. Once the Luna rotates down, they have the tier 1 there still, so safe play for them. Pick it up and walk over towards that mid lane. Probably bring down that tier 2 and go for high ground.
And then Aegis just kills any hope of being able to wombo combo the entirety of Aspera down at any rate. So, you may be able to kill off everyone else. Maybe if you're super lucky as mYinsanity. But yeah, this probably Queen of Pain is going to grab it, and she is just always going to be a pain in the ass to deal with. I don't even know if mYinsanity have enough crowd control. They'll have to like mana void her after she uses Sonic Wave for most of the damage, then still have the entire Shaker kit for the second kill. Killing her off once is already a hard sell. Killing her off twice is damn near impossible. They just need something else, anything else in the way of crowd control, but that's not exactly what they've geared themselves for.
Yeah, DDoS Arena would be nice. We are 1 kill off of 2 meme kill scores. 1 off 420, 1 off 322, so that's unfortunate.
Everything is bad, man. You guys couldn't even do that right. God damn it.
We must have missed 420 at some point. But it was definitely short-lived.
Did we? Maybe it was 320 and then 321 and then 421.
It could have been. It could have been. I don't feel like... yeah, you can check in the graphs. I don't feel like there's been a kill for the Radiant side. There hasn't been a kill for the Radiant side since 7 minutes into the game.
I only see 3.
Oh, yeah, there are only 3. Was there a
Right,
suicide?
it was a deny. No.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend denied.
But that'll count for Aspera, so it's actually 420.
Nice.
We did it. We did it, guys.
Back into the game as well. What do you know?
Yeah, okay. So looks like their Hail Mary strategy of disconnecting the enemies. I mean, obviously we're kidding, guys. Nico Baby seems like he's still disconnected.
Yeah.
And he's hookshot. Here comes the clockwork through the trees up the hill. I don't like the anti-mage's chances right now.
AFK Arena. Indeed.
Well, you could see like the sword in his back. Look at that. That's a Shadow Strike, actually. He's gonna blink away.
Oh wow. He missed the Sonic Wave. What do you know?
BM Sonic Wave.
That was a very sportsman-like pause from Undershock. So that was
At this point, they could get away with it. Just a couple of mercy, a little bit of mercy there from Aspera because they feel like it.
I'm just gonna scream towards your Ancient and back you guys off from Roshan. Easy Rosh going the way of the dire side. 18 minutes in. Expect them to put this on the Queen of Pain. They could throw it maybe on the Apathy on the Luna as well, but Afterlife with that 40-second cooldown, or Undershock I should say, with that 40-second cooldown, Sonic Wave is definitely super effective with that second life, and they will do so.
421 right now, and now Queen of Pain with that double life, and Luna BKB status. Oh, not really super close at this stage, but you know what? Aspera, they're not really in any huge rush. I think they should just go straight into all the tier 2s, but waiting for BKB just in case seems a little bit safer, because what are mYinsanity going to grab in the meantime? Like a Perseverance on Anti-Mage? Ooh, so scary. You have to deal with that extra regen.
Scary. Yeah, there's really nothing scary that they're going to come out with. I mean, the S&Y is pretty close for the Shadow Fiend, so that's alright for a little bit of right click for Thug, but definitely no Blink Echo Slam, definitely no Blink Vacuum, so really nothing to be worried about for Aspera.
Aspera, they're going to leave the Queen of Pain down towards the bottom lane right now. She does have the blink, and she's actually not with a ton of mana, so getting to this mid lane might be a little bit slower than they really would like. In the meantime, Nico Baby is split pushing. Force a TP back of the Luna, it looks like. So the first, usage of this Aegis, let's say, not really doing a hell of a lot. But yeah, sooner or later they should be able to mobilize their troops all at one point. And it looks like it might be off of a kill on Nikwa. They do drop the Darkness. Afterlife sees him. Hook shot in. Nikwa's trapped in the cogs. Undershock gonna get the Sonic Wave. This time not miss. Hey, and even they vacuum her out so she doesn't have to sit there awkwardly in the trees. What a nice guy, that Nikwa. Undershock grabs a beyond godlike spree. And they don't have their Luna in this bottom lane, which may be a little bit awkward, but still, they should be able to at least drop it to like half HP, maybe even a little bit less.
Yeah, Earthshaker couldn't TP in as well because Arzeek was on his tail the entire time. Arzeek still looking for blood. Gonna find Thug, though, and being by himself, is going to have to back off and reassemble with his team. Bot lane, 20 minutes in, 4-2-2 is your score, and this tier 2 definitely looking endangered. It looks like the dire side will back out for now, though, as Luna did have to push back that, or deter that split push top.
And she's now a little bit closer to her BKB. They have a mechanism completed on Limbo. Almost completed on Limbo. Those two items should come around at kind of the same time, more or less, especially if you go for any of these towers. So yeah, something is going to fall sooner or later. Keeper of the Light is with level 3 Illuminate right now, and in theory, that would be a really great way of keeping these towers alive. But we've seen time and time again, Queen of Pain blinking with a double damage rune, which for some reason she has again, because that just seems fair. And Clockwork also with the same ability to do so. This Keeper of the Light has to stay so far behind, and his ultimate is going to run out soon, so he won't really have that luxury. Blink forward, well. Sonic Wave, dead Spartan.
And he even got the Glimmer Cape off, but yeah, pure damage was there. Bring him down. Afterlife lurking in the trees as well, looking for someone to jump out and try and push back this wave. But Coddle really the only hero tasked with that job, and now he'll be dead, and the tier 2 will as well. Maybe we look for Aspera to pressure high ground, but they are going to TP back the Apathy once again towards Nico Baby top lane. And that'll stifle the push for now.
I don't know if Aspera can get to this top tier 2 in 2 minutes, but again, they could still fight without their Aegis on the Queen of Pain. They clearly don't need it if they're going to be getting those kills, and a full 5-on-5 engagement, I'm not really sure how that's going to pan out, but I don't really see it going super well for mYinsanity either way, so it should be just rotation around to these tier 2 towers. I'd like to see them just, maybe let the Anti-Mage get a tower or something if it means that Aspera are going to be collecting too. They catch Nico Baby in the corner, and it seems like Anti-Mage is kind of sleeping. Needs to blink out. He's going to get really deep into the trees. Undershock has no mana for a Sonic Wave, was just like 3 mana short. That kind of sucks, but
that would have killed him off for sure. Yeah, would have killed off Nico Baby for sure. So a little bit of luck on his side there. They do force him back, but it does deter the push for now. Thug gonna find one in the trees bot lane. Rocket Flare is gonna scout him out though, and Buckler gonna be popped. Afterlife and Limbo able to back out. Radiant Observer Ward is placed. They do catch the Fisher onto Afterlife, and they're gonna drop the wall, but Cold Embrace will be there, and that pretty much is gonna sound the end of it. Maybe they get to tier 1 off of this. TP not available for Luna, but meanwhile the tier 2 gonna be pushed in on the Radiant side, and there's no immediate reaction coming out from mYi's squad. It looks like they're maybe content to trade this Thug, just farming off towards that jungle. The tier 2 now goes down. No immediate response in terms of gaining him an objective for the Radiant, and they'll have to TP back to base.
Yeah, they're not even going to fully commit to any of these tier 1 towers. Maybe they could have gotten one if they just went for it. Yeah. But yeah, then you have to worry about Aspera teleporting back, and then it opens up a whole new can of worms. So it is the Aegis to be very soon reclaimed. Looks like Queen of Pain is just going to get that as a full mana restore, which is not what you want, but hey, it's better than nothing, I suppose. And Aspera, they're actually going to go right back down the mid lane. This is probably not the correct move without an Aegis, but it's going to be respawning in 3 minutes, and that is an incredibly short timer. It's the game wanting Aspera to end this game a little bit faster, perhaps.
Yeah.
The game is getting tired of it, so they're going to give her, the Queen of Pain, most likely, an even faster secondary Aegis.
Yeah, I don't mind the decision from Aspera here. It's certainly not the safe one, but they finally have the top lane pushed in decently. Nico Baby's been able to keep that out fairly often, so now they can jump in, not worrying about their tier 2 going down top. They're going to drop the crest over onto the Lina. Big Illuminate hits onto Undershock. The mech will keep him up, though. He's probably going to be able to be cold embraced in the backline as well, and they'll just throw the Apathy up to do some chip damage on this tier 3 as they reset.
Yeah, they again do have the Solar Crest, so putting that on the Apathy, just putting the Luna on the high ground, and the tower is soon to drop. And then after that, then you get to the really troublesome state of having both Raxes vulnerable. They're gonna hookshot in, actually, go straight for Spartan, dead Keeper of the Light again, but that's a Sonic Wave being used, and they're actually walled off by the Fissure. Wall is gonna be deployed, but now Apathy with the BKB is gonna drop the Eclipse, and Nico is gonna get dried up immediately. The Clockwork's gonna die to the Requiem of the Shadow Fiend. Everyone else trying to play around the wall. Undershot can take a raise, not moving. Apathy gonna straight TP out of there. Looks like they'll all be able to escape, maybe not Limbo, however. Clipped with the Fissure, Echo Slam as well, and they get another kill. Now here comes Nico Baby. He's silenced immediately though, and he can't get the Mana Void out. Yet it's a 2-for-2 trade. They hold on to the tier 3. It's actually pretty good for mYinsanity, all things considered, but not quite good enough to get them back into an aggressive position.
They do find the Battle Fury though on Nico Baby in the meantime while he was farming up top. I mean, now the Hex is available for Undershock, so I don't know how much work that Battle Fury can do next engagement. Yeah, it's going to be still very scary for them. Aspera do feed over a couple, but Luna survives and Queen of Pain survives, so really not a big loss for them.
The tier 3, I was gonna say, once the tier 3 dies, then the glaives will just kill off everyone on mYinsanity before they can even get a chance to go in. But really good Fisher there from Milan, splitting out Aspera's, or really cutting off their only escape route, forcing them into an awkward position. And the wall had a lot to be desired, I suppose, from Nikwa, but yeah, you can't really always have everything go your way. Still, they get a couple kills. Undershot gonna jump forward onto Nikwa, just put a dagger in his back, but now they're going to actually shuffle down to the bottom lane, Aspera, and look for this one. It's probably going to be an easy tower for them because mYinsanity will be unlikely to defend this. And with this tower destruction, their Luna will also be that much closer to what looks like a butterfly.
Yeah, the Apathy going to throw some harass damage. Lucent Beam over onto Nico Baby, force him back for now, back into the jungle. And meanwhile, Afterlife is able to pick off Milan in the trees using the hook shot for that one. So Earthshaker down for 25 seconds, does have buyback as they put some punishment into this tier 2 bottom. Nico Baby further forced out of that top lane, and so he's not able to get anything done while the push is commencing, as he has been able to do in recent minutes.
They're just going to tank the tier 2 with Limbo's Cold Embrace and the Solar Crest as well, and it will eventually drop. Again, no defense here coming out from the mYinsanity side. Luna, I'd like to actually see her perhaps get even Travels to completely lock down this anti-mage. Honestly, she has so much gold, she's so far ahead, she can get whatever she wants, and it'll probably work out. But look at that,
yeah.
Tier 2 tower taking on the bottom lane, Roshan conveniently respawning for Aspera. They will also scout it out really quickly as well, knowing that the game is favoring them right now. Nico Baby is going to try his best to split push, but I don't really know if this is going to work out. I don't even know if they need the Luna to kill off this Roshan.
Yeah, they do have the Solar Crest, so it should be fairly easy with or without the Luna. Just spam out some daggers. Every second dagger will hit, despite the spell block being there. They're even going to cog out Roche for the bit. Battery Assault keeps his attacks back. Undershot getting a little bit low. Does have that full bottle with the haste rune, though. So Roche should be down fairly soon. They can rotate Limbo in as well with that mechanism.
In the meantime, they were looking for the anti-mage. Night Stalker joining Luna, and you do have that crippling fear point up, so if they find the anti-mage, he has nowhere close to a Manta style, he will just immediately go down. They're going to start regenerating everyone in this Roshan pit with that Cold Embrace, and they will probably give the Aegis once again to Undershock, and yeah, he will grab that double life. A little bit more gold for Aspera, a little bit more experience, another life for the Queen of Pain, and now they can go repeat what they tried to do that mid lane with an Aegis and a Butterfly on this Luna completed.
Yeah, it should be a fairly easy task, it seems. They may want to reset their Queen of Pain, just grab up a full HP and mana pool, and come back towards that mid lane. Maybe push out the top as well. But it looks like this should be the beginning of the end for mYi. Do they have any of those big items? They did pick up the Blink Dagger on the Shaker, and they do have a Force Staff on the DS as well. So Wombo combo is, I mean, the dream is real. BKB is still 9 seconds on Luna, but no BKBs elsewhere. Of course, there is a double life on the Queen of Pain. Top lane, they will find the Crippling Fear onto Nico Baby, but it's not going to be long enough duration at this point. He will be able to blink out to the south and TP away.
At least it's now possible from the mYinsanity side. It's still really, really difficult. They also have a BKB soon to be completed on the Shadow Fiend, and you always have to remember that Blinding Light is an insanely effective skill, especially up against a hero like Luna, who's not going to be getting an MKB anytime soon. So it's now possible for mYinsanity to make a convincing hold, kill off a couple of Aspera heroes. It's still not going to be, any sort of 6-0 sweep with the Aegis or whatever. At least I don't think that's going to be happening, but hey, at least it's going to mean that Aspera have to work a little bit harder for it. And also, they've kept this Blink Dagger hidden on the Shaker because he just picked it up and he hasn't left the base yet. I don't know if Aspera know about the Force Staff on Darkseer, but if they clump up a little bit too much, they may end up getting punished from this. So we just have to see if Milan can keep that one hidden. Here comes Nikwa, he's going to charge right in, Surge, Vacuum into getting sheeped. With BKB up with the Apathy, suddenly no more teamfight possible, and now we have the really painful Glaive game. Shaker, where can you actually stand? Because Spartan's standing at his Ancient and he's dying.
Yeah, they do kind of force out the BKB charge there, so I'm not sure if they're going to be able to finish off this melee rack. So maybe they jump in off the back of an Afterlife initiation. He's got the Rocket Flare now to scout, and will scout out 4. The Fisher comes through, and the wall on top. The Winter's Curse is there onto Nikwa, though, and they're doing tons of damage. 3-man Sonic Wave. Requiem going to be popped by the Thug, but it only connects on 2. Undershot going to be cold and braced up. Nico Baby cannot bring him down. Eclipse, last beam going to hit up onto Nico Baby. The Crippling Fear is there. He's brought down. 5 still alive from Aspera. 3 down on the other side. Jump forward, Hex onto Thug. He's getting super low. Blinding Light will be there to save his life. Illuminate comes out as well. Undershock going to be able to blink out. Still does have that Aegis on the Queen of Pain and brought down the full lane mid. They're now going to commence towards that bot lane, and these buildings are definitely down. No buyback available from the Darkseer or the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, it's definitely over at this point. They had one shot in that fight, but unfortunately they just couldn't get the proper angle. The Earthshaker, it is really difficult because you do have to worry about the bouncing glaives, and if you get your Blink Dagger canceled, it's just, not possible for the Shaker at that point. They'll kill off Thug in a hurry with another Sonic Wave, giving Undershock an even larger Beyond Godlike spree, with still the Aegis to back him up. They couldn't get the Echo Slam off at all. The wall wasn't really there with the vacuum at the same time. Finally, they get the Echo Slam onto the Apathy, but Milan is not going to be able to get that kill, and they will call it straight after. Looks like they just wanted to try the Blink Echo Slam just once to see what it would do, and the answer is not much. So 6-33, and Aspera absolutely crushed mYinsanity in this game too. Really nice mana void from Nico Baby. Unfortunately, it's about like 20 minutes too late.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it almost felt like Aspera were giving them a little bit too much space. But yeah, just very diligent about positioning their cores in that last fight, and the Blink Echo really not being a factor. So well played by Aspera throughout, and it seems like the theme of this series thus far, as it's tied up 1-1, is that the more mobile, the more aggressive team has come out on top.
And we'll see if both these teams can get a very similar draft, so they could just go head-to-head. Mess of kills, always chaos. That's the type of game I want to see. And we'll see if they can bring it together in Game 3. Guys, I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by More Rage, please. And we'll both be right back for the deciding game between Aspera and mYinsanity. Don't go anywhere.